Welcome to the Full Tilt Poker $1 Million Cash Game from 50 London. We're nearing the end of the game, and the player that makes the most profit this evening will also leave this fantastic venue as the series champion. 13 of poker's highest rollers are in town this evening. 8 of them are already seated at the table and ready to go. From English to Danish to American, the big money has come to town. And in this game, it's all about making your friends go broke. Each player is starting with a minimum of $100,000 of their own cash. And if they lose it, they can simply reach back into their pockets and buy back in. The starting lineup for this game is a who's who of poker stars. In seat 1 is 7 times World Series of Poker bracelet winner Erik Seidel, who's made over $5.8 million in tournaments. Seat 2 is Roland de Wolf, originally a journalist but now an accomplished player, who's the only person to have won the WPT and EPT titles. Next up is the only person to win 4 World Poker Tour titles, Gus Hansen, originally from Denmark, but now spending most of his time commuting from Monte Carlo to Las Vegas. Then the man who needs no introduction, Phil Ivey, with 5 World Series of Poker bracelets and also another regular visitor to the Bellagio's $4,000, $8,000 limit game. In seat 5 is businessman Paul Kemsley, who appeared in the British version of The Apprentice and loves to gamble, but today any profits he makes will go to charity. In seat 6, it's Mike the Mouth Mattisau, self-confessed best player at the table. He's won over $4.2 million in tournaments, but loves the cash games just as much. Then in 7 is loudmouth Lithuanian Tony G, who won the first Asian Poker Tour event and donated half his winnings to a local charity. Finally in seat 8 is Alan Cunningham, who came 4th at the 2006 World Series of Poker main event and was the 2005 World Series Player of the Year. But who out of these players and more will take home the money and the title? Let's join our commentary team of David Tuckman and Gary Jones.
After 103 hands, Paul Kemsley, he's now at 97,900, only down 52. Gus Hansen's our big winner. He's up 93,000. Phil Ivey right behind him, 90,000. And Mike Mattisau still our big loser. He's down over $130,000.
Well, Phil Ivey on the phone, having a quick look to see if there's anything he likes. He's reaching for some chips, so whatever it is, it's enough for him.
18 to play.
He's made it 1,800 to play.
Since we only got an hour left, let's double the stakes, man.
Oh, you want to play higher, do you, Mike?
Well, I mean, we're only playing another hour. Let's fire her up.
All right, cool.
Tony G likes what he sees.
Till midnight.
He's called with the ace-queen, so the action, the momentum is still with Phil Ivey.
Why don't we gotta quit? Why don't we just keep playing? We'll do for 1,000.
Ericsson as well with his 8-7 of hearts. There are a few flops where he can get involved with Phil.
Get rid of the. We don't need the cameras.
Oh, this is a real interesting flop here. Everybody's got a piece of it. Erik Seidel's got second pair. Tony G's got top pair. But Phil Ivey, he's got the flush draw.
Some of us got working.
Me too. I gotta catch a flight tomorrow.
6.5 to call.
Action is on Phil Ivey.
Yeah, it's been a 6,500 bet from Erik Seidel.
What time's yours?
Mine's at like 1.
He's let out, putting the pressure on these other 2 players.
Going back to America?
All in.
What's the line? You got a tournament there.
Wow, no messing from Tony G.
It's the first time I'm gonna be there.
Wow, that's incredible. Seidel bets with second pair. Ivey calls, and now Tony G has moved all in, risking all of his chips, and he's way ahead.
Everybody's out.
Everyone's out.
Take a pot.
Unsurprisingly, the other boys have passed, and Tony G pulls that pot down. He shows the queen, unsurprisingly not the ace. I think the rest of them can guess.
Queen 3 was good.
Yeah.
To get started, one player has made the nominated dealer or button. Then the 2 players to the left post the small and big blinds. These are forced bets to get the action started. The big blind is always double the small. Unlike a tournament, the blinds stay at a set level for the whole game. In this case, $300 and $600. Plus, there's an ante of $100 per player, which must be paid if they want to play in a hand. Once the blinds and antes are posted, everyone has dealt 2 cards. We have a round of betting Then 3 cards are placed face up on the table, called the flop. These are the community cards for all the players to use. Then we have another round of betting, after which the 4th card, the turn, is placed in the middle, followed by some more betting and the last community card, the river. Then we finish off with a final round of betting. The best 5-card hand wins the money.
We are at 50 London for the Full Tilt Poker $1 Million cash game. The action has been absolutely fabulous. There's a shot of Phil Ivey, one of the world's greatest players, and a shot of the whole table.
Very, very old, like a cousin, right?
Queen, 7-7.
Alan Cunningham,
I'd say
4th place finisher in the 2006 World Series of Poker main event. He has the button.
Yeah, he managed to pick up $3.6 million.
So by taking across, found a bit of weakness there.
Over $8 million to his name in tournaments. Tournament winnings.
4 and 8 for the last hour.
Tony G's raised it up here with 6 deuce of hearts.
4 and 8 with 200.
I think he's just brought it in for the 6.
I'm happy to make it 5 and 1. Whatever, with 200 ante. Whatever you guys want to play.
Well, we only have an hour left.
Listen,
Let somebody get broke.
Well, there's Eric Seidel with King 4. Nothing for him on the flop.
15 on the 2. Pass.
And Roland DeWolf here, he's got the flush draw. He decided to check call.
He is actually winning with his King high.
But yeah, let's put.
Now
Now he's
got
got
a
the 7.
A mandatory straddle. Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, I'll try it.
5,000 to call.
Anybody object to the mandatory straddle? 3-6-12.
You're a good caller.
So a bet again from Tony G and a call from Roland. What a fantastic card. And Roland has checked again. He's made the King flush. I think he's trying to induce a bluff from Tony. And it's worked.
And we've seen it again here. Roland,
11.
we saw a hand earlier against Paul Kemsley where he really played it to perfection. And here again, he has gotten the absolute maximum out of 6 deuce of hearts.
Paul Kemsley, brief trip to the bar.
Auto straddle on.
Have a smoke, quick drink before getting back into the thick of the action.
One thing great about playing at 50 London, you can always get a drink.
Roland's thinking about just what to do now.
Yeah, obviously it's either a call or a raise. There's no way he's laying this hand down.
No. There's only one hand that can beat him.
Tony G with absolutely nothing. 6 high.
Count it, whatever it is.
About 75,000 more, approximately. No, 37, 47. 60,000 more.
There's 6, isn't it?
This is serious.
Pot is 26,000. Roland DeWolf, the sheep, deciding what to do with his King high flush.
Raise.
Well, that can't make Tony G happy.
No, I think he's pretty sure his 6 high is not good right now.
Just take it.
He actually has the worst possible hand that you can have at the moment.
Mr. DeWolf.
So we're putting, we're going to play auto straddle, 3-6-12.
Looks like Mike's wanting to kick the action up a bit.
I mean, I'm not going to do it unless everybody does it.
Trying to make the blinds no longer 3 and 600. He's trying to make them 3, 6, 1,200.
Kind of put a mandatory
Can't afford
straddle.
to play this cheap, man.
6 and 12 with $200 ante. What's the difference?
Or put a third blind in there. And the action is on Paul Kemsley there. Phil Ivey in the big blind. Phil Ivey, really just a true professional. Didn't even really notice him, and he's up 90,000.
6 call.
Just amazing how he knows when to mix it up, when to stay out of the action,
Pass.
and when to push it.
You don't see him forcing it right now. He's letting the gamblers mix it up.
And speaking of gamblers, Tony G in there with King 7 offsuit.
Jack 9 for Eric here.
And once again, you notice how Eric Seidel is playing hands in position.
Oh, boys. That's 3 spades. That's a 10, a 10, and a 10. Bam! We just won 30 in props, baby. Whee! That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Go, bud.
Now, that's where we're back in action.
And there it is, the king high flush.
I finally found a game I can beat. Props.
Now Eric Seidel with
Check.
Jack 9 there. He's open-ended, but with 3 spades out there, you don't really want to get involved.
Well, we've had a bet from Phil and a call from Paul.
And Paul's got second pair.
But at the moment, Phil Ivey has him drawing dead. He's flopped the king flush.
Hello?
Turns a deuce of diamonds.
It's no help for Paul Kemsley.
And Ivy says, hold on a second, I'm about to win him 20. I've got a flush.
10,000 to you.
Hello?
Pass. 10,000.
Now if I can just flop 3 spades this hand, I'll get 20 each.
Well, he's taken this one down, Phil.
What's up, mate?
Paul's managed to get away from his middle pair.
I don't know.
So Poker's Elite still battling it out for massive money here at the Full Tilt Poker $1 million cash game. Join us after the break for plenty more. It's holding up as one of the biggest no-limit cash games ever televised anywhere in the world. So let's rejoin our commentators of David Tuckman and Gary Jones.
Fresh water.
Alan Cunningham in first position with the ace-10 of spades. Let's see how much he likes this one. It's not a big hand, and he is out of position. But still, he makes it 2,000 to play.
The only way, and when Mike Zach was write it down, the only way I'm going to win is some kind of freakish...
Alan's focus, his concentration at the table is just legendary.
2 to play.
That's not freakish, that's normal.
It's normal.
Phil Ivey here. He calls the 2,000.
He had pocket sevens and he had the top set and 10 running sevens.
And that's what he's got. Pocket sixes.
Never remember that.
Where is this hand? Alan right in the 1 hole?
Oh, and Paul Kemsley with a snowman.
I call.
Mattisau's definitely going to play this hand, and I'm sure Tony G is as well.
So plenty of cards out there, a lot of action could be coming on this hand, especially if they're middles.
I think Tony G would have played any 2 cards, but he's certainly going to play 8-9 hearts.
And he's gone in front.
Check. 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 Check.
10 grand.
Yeah, not really an action flop.
But it's going to be 10,000, I think it was PK said.
10,000 raise. Pass. Pass. Pass.
Tough spot to be with 3 players yet to act behind you.
Exactly. And PK takes that pot down with a nice oversized bet.
Real strong play. The power of position.
And the power of money. One of the players I've been extremely impressed with so far has been Roland de Wolf. Don't think he's put a foot wrong so far. He's managed to accumulate over 30,000 without having to play any big pots, without any real risk. And the ones he's been in, he's played to perfection. Well, here's Paul Kemsley, 10-6 of diamonds. He brings it in for a raise. Mattisau's there as well with King 5 of diamonds. These boys are definitely gambling. I think a lot of the others are just looking to pick these boys off.
King.
Tony G in there as well with pocket 3s.
2. Check.
Interesting flop here. Mattisau with a pair of kings, but Seidel has flopped a flush draw.
Check.
King 5 of diamonds, a real speculative hand. Not necessarily the flop you're looking for with it.
Well, everyone's checked the flop, and look what's happened. Tony G has made 3 3s on the turn.
6,000.
And Mattisau leads out for 6,000. Quick call from Tony G.
Madisau thinks with all the checking on the flop, his king might be good. And it was.
Little does he know. Seidel can still win this pot, though, if a heart were to fall. Normally you have 9 outs when you have a flush draw, but in this case, the king of hearts and the 3 of hearts are no good.
Ace. Check.
And there's the ace on the river. Tony G is filled up here.
How much? 8.
Tony G bets 8,000. Seidel quickly lays down. And Madisau calls.
He does. You'd think he thought his king was good.
Are you going to repeat as well?
And Madisau continues to bleed off chips. Here we are with the ranking of the hands. First we have high card. In this case, a king high would win it. Then we have 1 pair. In this case, pair of aces. Then 2 pair. Jacks and 9s will do it. Then 3 of a kind. 3 of the same one. 3 4s. Then we have a straight. 5 cards in order, not the same suit. Then a flush. 5 cards, the same suit. 5 hearts will do it. Then we have a full house. 3 7s, 2 kings. This would be 7s full of kings. 4 of a kind, 4 kings. Then we have a straight flush. 5 cards in order, all the same suit. And here's the most beautiful hand in the world. Royal flush. 10, 2 ace, all the same suit. Button moves over to seat number 8. That's Alan Cunningham. Gus Hansen is first to act.
It's been quite quiet for a while, hasn't he, Gus?
Well,
We haven't seen too much from him. He's got king-queen this hand, but he's in first position.
That's unbelievable. 4 hours.
Never want to let position bother him too much.
It's like getting robbed. It's like you're getting robbed.
A raise from Gus, re-raise from Paul Kemsley.
Paul Kemsley obviously not playing his cards.
Wow, and Mike's called with the ace-jack of hearts.
Pass.
That's actually got Paul pretty crushed.
Pass. Pass. 28.
A raise of 2,800 to Gus.
King, queen offsuit looks pretty ugly right now, doesn't it?
And I'm going to play with my buddies.
It does, but he's not afraid to call the extra 2,800. He's put 22 in there.
Well, he wants to play with his buddies, as he says.
Let's see if the flop brings something for him.
3. 9. 4.
Well, that's a flush draw for Mike Madisau.
It's a big flop from Madisau, but Kemsley's actually outflopped them both. He's got a pair of 4s.
10.
10,000.
They get no results. They haven't got a guy.
Well, Mike's looking for a hand to gamble. He's only got 44,000.
Guy busted out. I mean,
And look at this, he's going to move all in here. Now, normally when you have overcards and a flush draw, you have 15 outs, but in this case, the jack is no good. So Madisau is down to 12 outs. Can Paul call this with just a pair of 4s? I mean, can you correctly put Madisau on a flush draw and call him and gamble it up here?
Well, Paul might not even try and read his opponent. He might just decide my 4s are good enough. Let's gamble, baby.
32,000.
Well, you know, PK's got the gamble in him.
You know what? Only on the basis you ain't lucky. Cool.
He says cool. He's right on the basis you're not lucky. It's a pretty well a coin toss.
that's not really good.
Better than me.
Oh, that's just a slap in the face. You're not lucky, I'm going to call you.
I mean, anyway.
And it is a coin toss.
It's not actually, but that's a good card you got against him. The jack's kind of pretty big for you. Jack 4. Yeah, he had like.
Madisau's got 12 outs here. He needs an ace
Kick
or a
counting.
heart.
That's a big call.
It's about a 57-43.
You're gonna win this one.
57% favorite for Kelmsley here.
Just deal the hand.
5.
Turns no help here. A deuce will give him a wheel.
5.
No help there, and PK is going to take it down. A $96,000 pot, and Mike the Mouth Madisau goes broke again.
That's a great call.
I think that's enough for Mike.
He's playing.
Mike, they call Gus Hansen the luckiest man in poker. What on earth does that make you this evening?
Well, Gus isn't the luck. He's a complete idiot. He'll be broke soon, but he ain't lucky. He can't. He just puts his money in with the worst hand and gets there. Me, I'm just normal. I expected it. I wanted to get insurance on the big hand because I knew how unlucky I run. Everybody's like, "Are you crazy? You crazy?" I'm like 20-1 favorite. I'm like, you guys just don't understand how bad I run in poker. Just rolled right off like it's supposed to. This guy here just put in 40,000 with Jack 4 against me. You know?
The big hand you mentioned against Erik Seidel, did that seem to knock you a bit in your game?
Not at all. I mean, I was playing perfect. I mean, I just played a $100,000 pot with Ace Jack versus Jack 4. You know?
I guess some nights like this, they just happen sometimes, huh?
No, this is every day for me. This is just another day in the office for me.
How difficult is it to play without the luck, and what do you have to do to your game in order to get on top?
I expect to lose every day, and I do. It's no big deal. And it's just my life in poker. It's been that way for a long time.
And with that hand, Paul Kelmsley, he comes back from the dead here. He's up almost $10,000 now. Mike Matusow, wow, down $200,000. That's real money.
Here comes Paul, fresh off his last victory.
Cool. I call. Cool. 6 to call. Pass.
Now we're going to be playing seven-handed for a little bit. Definitely changes dynamics of the game.
Well, I think just having Paul in the game is going to mean that everyone's going to speed up. Most of the pros look like they've switched off a bit. They're just waiting to catch a hand to maybe clash against Paul. The only one who's really gambling with him has been Tony G. But Eric's decided to play this one with his 8-7 on the button. So's Roland to Wolf.
3. Doesn't that pay me?
Well, Tony G is...
10,000 a man. Thanks very much.
Pass.
Huh?
Tony G's got a king, but so does Paul Kemsley.
You folded?
I've got a bit of fuel this time.
Neither player has a club, though.
Check.
Well, on the basis I won it, I may as well bet it. 10,000.
Seems reasonable. 10,000.
Doesn't it?
And you know what?
He certainly seems to be enjoying himself here, Paul. How much do you like your hand now, Tony? 10,000's the bet.
No, he's got top pair, no kicker, and no club to redraw to. He's got to throw it away, and he does.
I'm expecting this one to go into the coffers of PK.
I probably want to call it on names. I don't know where I am.
100,000 back there.
Mike, just look at how lucky you got. You saved 30,000.
Honestly.
Because you should have had
I'm not being
31.
funny. I'll go downstairs and have a go. They're obviously lucky.
Hard to play.
Talked you into the call. He did. Totally took me into the call.
And we are back. Action here on Kelmsley. PK's first to act. He's got Jack 9 offsuit.
He's definitely the man of the hour. Having just sent Mike Matusow to the felt and out the door.
Call 6. I call. 6 call. Pass.
Tony G's in this one.
Once again, we're seven-handed, but what a 7 we've got.
And raise to 5. 4-7 to call. Pass. Take it, Eric, take it.
Seidel likes his king 10 of diamonds, and he's going to take it down.
You're out? I know the feeling.
You're not unlucky.
No, that's the thing.
And apparently Chris Ferguson is going to jump back into the game.
You don't want to mess with that.
So as Chris Ferguson sits down, we're pretty much still seven-handed.
Oops.
Okay, so play both of them.
It's not unlucky. He missed that. He saved himself 10 grand.
What's happening? Coming back in? It's lucky for the props.
Yeah.
To the props.
How much is that worth?
Slide that over to him. Slide that over to him.
Okay. I don't have to pay for
There's always a seat at the table for you.
Action, Chris Ferguson joins us again.
And your antes, please.
Okay, I can't do it tonight.
Back in the game. Chris Ferguson, in his first stint, played it real tight. the 2000 World Series of Poker main event champion. You wonder if he'll loosen up a little bit.
I don't think Chris is going to loosen the game up too much. I think Paul Kenzie's already loosened the game up.
Nobody said he had to call 170,000.
I think Chris is just hoping to catch a little bit of the dregs before the end.
He did have the fourth notch.
It's hard to fold.
Alan Cunningham's made a nice sizable raise here with the king-queen. I think he realises there's less people gambling at the moment, and it's a good time to try and pick up some blinds. But one person hasn't stopped gambling, and that's Mr. Paul Kemsley. He doesn't get to play with these guys all that often, so when he does, he's got to make it count.
300.
Once again, Paul Kemsley there.
Pass.
Everything he wins today goes to the Razgold Foundation for charity.
So he's got an awful lot of people rooting for him.
Yes.
These professionals don't really need the money quite as much as the charity does.
Helping to fight melanoma.
It's quite a sizable re-raise here for Alan.
Alan might think he has the best of it, but king-queen offsuit might not be the hand you want to go to war with.
Unbelievable bad. The running of this is the worst I've ever seen. Two aces. By that stage, it's just like, I can't really have fun.
Well, he's laid it down, and the re-raise has got through there from Paul Kemsley with Jack-7.
I have a lot of respect for Chris's ability to adjust his game. A lot of tournament specialists are tournament specialists because they've been unsuccessful in cash games. Whatever it is about their personality or their style, it just doesn't work in cash games, and it does in tournaments. I don't believe that that's the issue with Chris. Chris has never tried to play cash games. He's always just had a fascination with the tournament form of the game.
When you play tournament poker and you play cash game poker, there's a big difference. You know, Chris is got a tournament style, he's patient, and then he does this. Chris doesn't know how to play after the flop. He has no clue.
You know, when I was 15, I was Miss Teen Oklahoma.
Interesting. Well, I've written 2 best-selling poker books, and I'm 6'9".
Amazing.
From 10 feet away, I can throw a playing card through a carrot.
Miss Oklahoma good. Oklahoma.
I don't think I'm really going to change my game because I play tournaments very much like their cash games. I think you'll find that my opponents will open up their games a little more. They're going to be playing more hands. I'm probably going to be playing fewer hands. So I'm probably going to be one of the tighter players at the table. But I'm going to be looking for good spots to get my money in, just like I do in tournaments.
We are at 50 London for the Full Tilt Poker $1 Million cash game. The action has been absolutely intense. Chris Ferguson, Jesus there with the hat. He's got the button. Small blind is Tony G. Big blind is Alan Cunningham. And the action is all the way over to Phil Ivey. Ivey's not going to play.
And a raise.
5.
And PK's got an interesting hand here. He's got Jack-10 suited.
5,000.
Well, that's a big bet with a Jack-10 of diamonds. He makes it 5,000. Tony G wants to gamble, so he calls with Queen-7. He definitely wants to gamble at the moment. I think he's a little bit hotted up.
4, 5, 6.
Well, it's not a bad flop for Tony G here. He's flopped an open-ended straight draw. He actually has Queen High as the best hand right now.
Yeah, not only does he have the best draw, he has the best hand as well. He's got no way of knowing that, of course.
Bet of 10,000. Raise.
Re-raise from Tony here.
Raise of 29,000.
Re-raise.
Wow.
Mr. 29 called.
He said re-raise here. Tony G is not going to believe this when he sees it.
And this is poker. Pretty sure here, Tony G, he is way down on the night. He's looking to gamble. He's not going anywhere.
And what's going to amaze him is he's actually winning.
His Queen Eye is good here right now. And this pot is going to be over $100,000 when it's all said and done.
That 20. 29 called.
And the amazing thing is right now, Queen High is the best hand.
And the pot, there it is, $127,000. And look at the hands. Nobody's got a pair yet.
There's still betting to come.
And there's a jack.
A card on the turn.
Unbelievable. Tony G's still got outs here. Tony G can catch a 8, a 3, or a queen to win this.
What do you got?
4.
I can't wait to hear the cry out of Tony G's mouth when he sees what he's up against. He was winning. What a jack on the turn for Paul Kemsley.
The pot is $144,000. A 3, an 8, or a queen will do it here. He's got 11 outs. To the river. Oh!
What a card for Tony G. He wins a monster pot.
Unbelievable.
Gotta be lucky in this game.
Now, in Tony G's defense, about 90% of the money
No way
did
to
go
go
in
except be
when
lucky.
Tony G had the best of it.
Yes, it is. That is very,
Yeah, the
very
best
true.
hand on the flop, huh? Wow, that's gambling. You see, you would love playing with me because I'm a gambler.
Paul Kemsley's going to be able to say how unlucky he was in that
all
pot.
These guys, these nets you got.
Yeah. You got very lucky.
I know I got lucky, but I do give action. I mean,
You get lucky or what?
I did.
Hmm?
I put my hand out. I mean, but I gambled with it, didn't I? I mean,
You played, yeah.
that's just,
played.
I got gamble. I got a half. Got a gamble and a half.
100, please.
And with that hand, Tony G now up $44,000. Paul Kemsley takes a big hit. He's down 55 now.
Pass. Pass, pass.
Action is absolutely crazy.
I got very lucky.
Nobody can say these guys aren't gambling.
You were in a mess, weren't you?
I wasn't.
certainly
I wasn't
can't
a
say
mess.
that.
You got me tangled up.
Huh?
I'll raise it.
Gonna raise.
You got me tangled up. What can I say?
2,000.
I had a
A
few.
raise of 2,000 from Tony G on the button. He has got the goods. He's got ace jack.
And called.
You
And
had
Seidl's
call.
gonna call.
Yeah, and a call from
extended
Eric with
game.
the
Anyone
10-9.
8. Ace. 4. Check.
Spade in both Tony G and Eric Seidl's hand. The bigger one with Tony G.
10,000, guys.
9.
But that 9, a nice...
Check. 2,000.
It's a big flop for Tony G there. He has top pair with the jack of spades.
Well, that's probably why he's jacked it. Nice card for Eric to get involved with.
Check.
But a great card on the river for Tony G.
Whatever you want to do, Phil.
12,000.
What you want me to say? Well, I'm definitely not going to
Tony G bets 10,000 on the river. And Seidl really can only beat a bluff here.
Yeah, exactly. And surely if Tony G had been bluffing, he would have done it on the flop. The ace has come, it's a perfect opportunity. He's got to give Tony G a big hand here.
Right? Can't get too messy. 8 minutes to go, can it? Huh? What? Huh? That was sick. That was cool. You know, it's a shame, isn't it? That's it. I don't ever have to play again.
Seidl trying to piece it together, piece the puzzle together here. And he is going to call. Look at this. Well played by Tony G. Checks the flop. And he is going to get the call from Seidl. And he's going to show him ace-jack and take down a big hand there.
Probably a little bit of a surprise.
I am surprised there
Got a few
that
tricks
Eric
up my
Seidl
sleeve
called
there.
that.
See?
He's obviously thought that with the check on the flop that Tony G doesn't have any of
I know what
it.
you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I've got a lot to win. I don't think the other guys have as much to win, because if I can get a few of those guys broke, that's a scalp to me, and that's really, really important. I want to face these guys and I want to destroy them. And I'm going to really enjoy that.
We are watching a masterclass in poker here from the world's elite. Join us after the break for plenty more. So as another $100,000 lands on the table, there is now over $1 million in play. Let's see who can take the majority of it. And rejoin our commentary team of David Tuckman and Gary Jones.
Oh, thanks.
No, you are.
With over $1 million on the table, it's Gus Hansen to bring in the action.
And win.
Listen, you're lucky you didn't win that off Mike.
Oh, poor Mike, but I've done enough to him as it is.
Cool. 60.
600 called by both Gus Hansen and Phil Ivey.
Pass.
Paul Kemsley seems to have put on the brakes a bit after his big clash with Tony G. Tony G in with his Queen 8. He obviously hasn't lost his gamble.
Cool. Any raise on the blind?
Alan Cunningham in there with Queen 10 on the button.
Yeah, you just hit a jack on the end.
Eric Seidel
You have the ace.
in the small blind with King 10.
Oh, it's horrible.
So they're all gambling at this stage late in the night.
That will look terrible, Eric.
Check.
3, 4, 6. Not an awful lot there for most of them.
Phil Ivey with the best of it here with ace 3. He's got bottom pair with an ace kicker.
4, 5,
I'll bet it for Eric, just in case.
Pass.
Tony G betting it with his Queen 8.
Pass, pass.
Look at this. Look what you're letting me bet with now.
Oh, he's terrible.
Look at this.
Isn't it? Huh?
And Tony G, he's one of those players that confidence really kind of pushes him. He wins a couple of big pots, and he's just going to keep going.
Exactly. He's going to play his rush.
No, I'm just taking control of the game. Absolute control. They can say what they like, but I've got the money.
100, please.
Under the pump, all the way
They
through.
can say what they like. But you're the governor.
Under the pump, all the way through. And right on the end, like a champion, coming
I'll
good.
take one.
Button is in seat number 1. That's Eric Seidel. Gus Hansen in the big blind. Phil Ivey's first to act.
Queen 8, you just let me take the pot. Someone got to get some guts and
Cool.
pop it one time.
Raise.
Raise.
There you go. You're showing some class.
Phil Ivey limps in with the Queen 10 off.
That's it.
5,000 total.
PK is going to raise it up here with a suited
Prove
king.
yourself. My call.
You can tell by the action that it's pretty well
We're
the
gambling.
last few hands of the evening. Everyone wants to gamble. Wow, what a hand to get this late in the evening.
Oops, he's reaching for a stack. You might make it like 25.
Cost him an awful lot earlier on rather.
Crazy Razy, here he comes. Razy Daisy, there it is.
He's trying to keep at least one player in.
19, that's not much, 14 each.
Pass.
Tony G making it sound like it's not going to cost a lot.
Pass.
I think he still wants to gamble.
All in.
All in.
Wow, an all-in from Paul Kemsley.
Don't worry about it.
And PK has moved all in here. He has moved right into Alan Cunningham's aces. And, well, you know what? Alan really played great. Got a bad beat earlier. And unless he gets incredibly unlucky, he is going to double up here. The pot is $133,000 to the flop.
All right, ace 3 of hearts.
8.
8 of hearts,
Oh,
9
no.
of hearts,
6.
6 of spades. Nothing there for Kemsley. PK needs a 7.
4.
He needs a 7. Not going to come.
So close yet
I
so
make the
far.
hand. I have to be crazy.
And Alan Cunningham
I
there,
clean it out. Ace
back
3
from
of
the
hearts.
dead, doubles through there. He's up to 133,000 now.
If he hasn't got a hand,
What a time to pick up aces, huh?
10.
Absolutely perfect.
20.
how about that? Ace 3 of hearts. Oh dear.
Yes.
Well, with only one hand left to go, Paul Kemsley sitting there with just over $30,000 in front of him. What's the price that he's going to pump it in this hand, David?
Well, you know he's here to gamble. Still having a good time, still smiling, still laughing. I'm sure he'll gamble. Not a bad hand to gamble with here. 7-5.
Well, he's announced all in. I
What a
saw
sur-
it coming. He's just going to put $31,000 in there
Pass.
in a gamble. Let's see if anyone's going to call.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, obviously, it's all gamble. How strong a hand do you need to call?
Well, I think everyone knew he was going to gamble with this. Probably any kind of pocket pair.
Well, now,
Sixes might be enough.
Now, is Seidel going to re-raise, though, to try to close anybody else out, or is he just going to smooth call?
Well, the problem is if he re-raises here, he could walk into a bigger hand behind him. It is a tricky one to play him. Unlikely for Roland to call that one.
10,000.
But Gus is sitting there with ace-jack. You can tell he's interested, and he's having a look to see how much it's going to cost.
22.
I think Phil Ivy's already passed.
Pass.
But Eric Seidel's passed. The sixes aren't going to be gambling.
I'm pretty sure Gus Hansen will call this.
Oh, Gus Hansen is definitely going to call this.
I haven't looked at my cards. Oh, that's it. Well, I'm not going to fold if Phil wanted to do something. I'm just shoving in the rest, just in case. Yeah.
He's decided he's shoving in the rest. It's an all-in from
What about the other dudes?
Gus Hansen.
Oh, okay. Might be winning.
He's making sure he's getting this one heads up.
That would have been a good spot to pick up aces if you were Phil Ivey.
It certainly would. It would have been interesting to find out what Phil would have needed to call that bet.
Believe it or not here, PK is actually not in that bad shape. He's got live cards. And this is for the championship here. If Gus Hansen wins this, he is the champ.
Yeah, he will end up winning the most money on the day. Let's see what the flop brings.
10. 8.
That's a diamond.
Ace.
That's a second diamond, but it's an ace. So he can't catch a 5 or 7 anymore, but he can catch the 9 diamonds.
And there's
it's
a diamond.
But it's aces and jacks for Gus Hansen. He's got 4 cards. That's not one of them. And Paul Kemsley, the man who livened up the Full Tilt Poker $1 million cash game, wins the last pot of the night and the consolation prize.
So with the game over, I can now reveal the final standings for the Full Tilt Poker $1 million cash game. The game's biggest losers were Mike the Mouth, who's down $200,000, and PK, who came to the table with 150, but leaves with only 63. How much did you enjoy it out there?
Very much. It was great fun. Great fun. One queen, bit unfortunate. I might have been sitting here as a winner.
After some big wins and a major loss to Gus Hansen in show 3, Eric Seidel ends up just $2,200 down.
It's always fun when you're playing with the best players in the world, and that's what you had here today. You just had some, great players. You got Phil Ivey at the table, and Mike Matusow, who's been playing very well, and Alan Cunningham, who's just been playing fantastic poker, and that's you can go on and on. It was an all-star lineup.
Jennifer Harman walks away with a steady $26,700 after leaving the table in show 2, but Roland de Wolf got just ahead of her by only $200.
The start was a bit cagey, but as it got on, Mike Matusow got stuck. Tony G was sort of just being clueless, and the amateur guy was real fun. So there are 3 of them really great to play with.
But now it's the big 4 who made over $50,000 each, and of course at the top of our table, the $1 million cash game champion Phil Ivey with a staggering $92,800 clear profit.
Phil, congratulations. How pleased are you to be the champion today?
The champion? I'm pretty pleased. It's always nice to come to another country and win money. So I'm pretty happy with myself right now.
And what were some of the turning points today for you?
The turning points? Well, there was a hand against Mike Matusow where I bet $5,000 and he raised it to $15,000. He said he had a pair of 3s and I flopped a set and I re-raised them. And that kind of got me off to a good start where I could, play a lot of hands. And I flopped a couple sets here and there, and I was able to win a couple of hands like that. And it was just smooth sailing the entire way.
Great. Well, congratulations, Phil. I'd like to present you with the trophy. You are the Full Tilt Poker $1 million cash game champion 2006, so enjoy it.
Now I just got to figure out a way to get it home.
So there were big winners and even bigger losers. I'm sure they'll all have stories to tell, but in the end, that's poker. You can bet your bottom dollar they'll be back for more, and we hope you will too. But now, from all of us at 50 London, it's time to say goodbye.